to start this project, we're working with 2 strands from 2 different balls of yarn, and we're going to work into a magic ring. So we're going to get about an 8 to 10 inch tail, and with our working yarn going to the balls going this way, we come over our fingers. We're going to wrap around 3 total times, so you have a little tail here. Then insert your hook under all the yarn and pull this working yarn, this is your one that connects to your yarn balls, pull the working yarn up from under the other ones, and then we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Now I like to slip the loops off of my fingers at this point. I have my working yarn. I have this nice loop that I created and this tail that we'll pull to tighten. Now we're going to work a double crochet, so we yarn over and we come into the center of this loop, the magic ring that we've made, and we yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So now we've gotten started working into the magic ring. To make it even easier to finish, I like to place a stitch marker in the top of that beginning chain 3, because that's the stitch we'll be working into when we finish. Alright, so we need another double crochet. Chain 2. Three double crochet, working into this magic ring. Chain 2, 3 double crochet. I'm going to do a chain 2 and 3 double crochet. Third double crochet. Now at this point we're going to tighten up the magic ring. Now I wrap the yarn over my hands 2 times, and you'll see when we tighten this, it's only wanting to tighten one of those 2 at first. So sometimes the one that it's tightening, I just give a little pull on that one to tighten the other one. Now most times with the magic ring, you only wrap over your finger 2 times, but by doing it 3 times, it makes this center extra secure. So we just pull the tail until you've got it nice and tight in the center there. You can see our square starting to form here. And now to finish this square, we're going to work a double crochet into this top of the chain 3, top chain of the chain 3 space. We're going to, right where that stitch marker is, work into that stitch with a double crochet. And that creates your corner space, quite similar to how your chain 2's created, but it leaves your working yarn right here at the corner. So now I'm going to leave this stitch marker here for a minute, because what we do next is we're going to chain 3 to move up to the next row. Then we're going to yarn over and we're going to work a double crochet into this corner space we created. So we're going to work a double crochet right into the space created by the last double crochet of our last row. So we'll go ahead and work that double crochet right into there. Move my tail out of the way. And now we've got our corner space for this round, or our start of our corner for this round. The reason I leave the stitch marker is because that is actually the first stitch we are going to work into to come across this side. So we'll work into that first chain 3 space from the row below again. And now I'll move the stitch marker and I'm going to move it to the top of the chain 3 from this round. So now it's there when we need to finish this round. And we're going to work a double crochet in each double crochet from the row below. Caught on something there. Let's try that again. Work a double crochet. There we go. And another one. And when we get to the corner here, into the corner space, we're going to work 2 double crochets. If I don't drop it. There's 1, 2 double crochets, then we're going to do a chain 2, and then we're going to work 2 more double crochets into the same corner space. So now we have 3 double crochets to work into. Make sure you don't miss this first one, because you're kind of working to cover it. But we have 1, 2, 3. So we work into this first space, first stitch here with a double crochet. And this next one. And that's 3. Now we do another corner, same way as the last one. We do 2 double crochet, chain 2, and 2 more double crochet. Now, working into the top of our first double crochet here, we do a double crochet, and another, back to the corner here, we work 2 double crochets. Oh. There we go. We've got 2 double crochets, then chain 2, 2 double crochets, and then we're going to work across our last side. So into this first stitch we work a double crochet, and the next, and the last double crochet. Now we're back to our corner space where we started. And so we have our chain 3 and our double crochet. working into this same space that these two are worked into, we're going to do 2 double crochet. And then to finish our corner, we're going to work a double crochet into the top of our chain 3 space here. All right, so that created our new corner space. So now we're going to chain 3, and we're going to double crochet into that corner space we made. And then we're going to double crochet around in each of the double crochets below. So again, that first one is that chain 3 space from the previous round again. And I'm going to move my stitch marker up to the top of the chain 3 from this round. If you're having a hard time figuring out where to place it, you've done 3 stitches at this point, your chain 3, your first double crochet, and your double crochet into that chain 3 space that you took the stitch marker out of. So you have 1 stitch, 2 stitches, 3 stitches. So in this V3 back from where you're working. Make sure I get it under there. There we go. 1, 2, 3 stitches. And we're going to work our way around, same as the last previous round. All right, as we come back around this final side, we are going to work 2 double crochets into this corner space. 1, 2, and then we're going to work a double crochet into this beginning chain 3. But after we do our first pull through 2, when we have 2 loops left on the hook and we're ready to finish this stitch, we're actually going to add our next color. So for this color, we are doing 1 color, so we're pulling from both the outside of the yarn and the center of the yarn. And I'll have a video showing how to do that. But to change colors, what we're doing now is we take our new color, leave a tail, and we're going to yarn over for that final yarn over of our double crochet and pull through the new color. Now we are going to turn our work, and this is where we're going to start working. We're going to start working flat instead of in the round. So we're actually going to do a chain 2, and we're going to move our stitch marker up to the top of that chain 2, because that'll be our new beginning stitch. And we're going to work front post double crochets along 2 edges. So that's our first stitch. Working around the next one, we're going to come in from the front, around the post of the stitch, and then back out. We're going to yarn over and pull up a loop, and then complete a double crochet as normal. Pull through 2, pull through 2. All right, to show you that again, we're going to yarn over. We're going to come in from the back, around the stitch, out to the front, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Get a little bit more yarn ready. We're going to work one of those around each. We can actually detach our gold yarn now. There we go. Move our purple. All right. Front post, double crochet. Come in around the post and out, yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2. And do that all the way across to the corner space. All right, so we're at the corner. We've got these front post double crochets. In this corner space, we're going to do a double crochet, chain 2, and another double crochet. And we are going to work along this side now with front post double crochets. Final front post double crochet, and into this corner space we're going to do a half double crochet. So yarn over, insert the hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3. Now we're going to turn, we're going to chain 2, and now I'm going to put a stitch marker in the top of that chain 2, because that is now our second side. So we have, now that we've turned it, you can see this is the right side of the work, and that first row of front post double crochets created this little ridge of our first color. We are now going to do another row of front post double crochets. So this was our first stitch around the first double crochet. We're going to come between where this little ridge is from the first row, around the post of our double crochet, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So now we're creating another row of front post double crochets. Again, you can find the stitch behind this ridge before the tops of your stitches there, around the post, and all the way across to the corner space. Now we're at the corner. We're going to double crochet, chain 2, and double crochet. And we're going to work around across this side as well with our front post double crochets. We're going to do a half double crochet in the top of that stitch. So 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. Now we're going to turn the work, and you'll see we've added a ridge of these purple to this side. This is the wrong side. Now to raise up to the next level, you can chain 3 would work, but I like to do the chainless starting double crochets. I have another video showing how to do that I can link. So to do the chainless starting double crochet, you pull up to the height of a double crochet, rotate your hook counterclockwise to put a twist, hold the yarn with your finger, rotate your hook while holding it, still counterclockwise, to pull it around like it's 2 loops, yarn over, pull through that first loop, then yarn over and pull through 2. And that is a chainless starting double crochet. Then I like to move my stitch marker up to the V of that stitch, because then I know where the beginning of my round is. Alright, for this round, we're going to just be doing double crochet right into the top of the stitches normal, all the way across. There will be several rows of double crochet for each stripe as specified by the pattern, but the first 2 rows will always be working either front post or back post double crochets to create that texture change as we change colors. Most corners we will have a double crochet, chain 2, double crochet to work into the corners, but some corners have a bigger increase in them, so those will be in bold in the pattern so that they're easy to see where you need to do more increases in the corner. And so on those bolded rounds, it'll be 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. All right, we've finished with this color and we're ready to join the next one. So for the final yarn over of our final double crochet, we just yarn over in our new color and pull that up. Now we're going to turn our work. I like to kind of hold the tails a little tight while I start, and we're going to chain 2. And I'm going to move this stitch marker up to our new stitch here. And now for this row, we're actually going to do back post double crochets. So you yarn over, and now you come from the back of the stitch around the post and to the back again, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then finish your double crochet as normal. Pull through 2, pull through 2. So again, that is coming from behind the stitch, around the post, to the back again, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. You're going to do those all the way across, and then for a second row, going back across. All right, I'll show you really quick how to work the back post double crochets. So the row will start with a chain 2, and now you want to find the post of the double crochet that you're going to work around. So you have this ridge that you created on the front side of the work. You just kind of want to push it down out of the way a little bit to find these posts to work around. So then you come in from the back and around the post and do your double crochet as usual. Once you've found that first one, it gets a little easier to move the stitches out of the way to find the next one. So around the back of the post and double crochet around the back of the post and double crochet. That should be all you need to know until we get to the edging. Pulling 2 colors from a yarn cake, you're pulling the center pull and the outside. Occasionally, especially with a high friction yarn, when you're pulling the center of the yarn, you get what is sometimes called a yarn barf, where it wants to pull this big section out of the center. So I just wanted to quickly show you how I deal with that. So we have our center of our yarn cake. What you'll actually find is that typically if you pull on the bottom closer to the cake, and see here I'm just setting little bits of yarn back onto the cake, it will, for the most part, untangle itself. As long as you don't pull anything too tight, most of this yarn isn't actually tangled. It's just got a lot of friction, so it wants to grab onto each other. So what I like to do when I have all of this yarn coming loose is just gently pile it on top of the yarn cake. And I'll show you why in just a second. So you'll see it's almost completely detangled. We just have this little tiny bit of a tangle, and what you'll see is there's just this tiny little spot that just grabbed everything else. It's not even tangled, it was just a little bit of a fluff that grabbed a couple pieces of yarn together. So I'm just going to gently pull that off. Now, if we try to keep working with this yarn as we pull, this outside one is going to want to tangle around all of these loops that we just pulled off. So what I like to do is actually take the whole cake and flip it over. So now our center pull is going to pull from the bottom, and it's pulling all of those loose threads, or all of that loose yarn, and our outer cake, our outside pull, is just coming around the edge. And it wants to be a little more frictiony, so you just work with it a little more slowly. And you'll find that you can just keep pulling from both, and as you do, just keep working. It's not tangling anymore. And once you have used up all that yarn, it's just back to a regular center pull. If you have a strand like this that is kind of loose on the top, what you can do is kind of try to spread it out and flatten it along the top so that it's not pulling when your center pull is pulling. And see there, that's where it's attached, so now it's just pulling cleanly. So that's how I deal with a tangle coming out of the center of a yarn cake. Alright, we've worked our crochet square through the 5 colors, and now we're going to add the 6th border color. So I'm just going to back out 1 stitch. It's a double crochet to end this row, so we're going to start it as a normal double crochet, yarn over, pull through 2, and when we have 2 loops on the hook, we're going to take our next color, just like any color change. I'm going to yarn over for that final yarn over of the double crochet, and then we can turn our work. We're going to start with a chain 1 and single crochet in this first stitch, and I like to place a stitch marker right there because that is where we're going to slip stitch to join when we work all the way around. So we're going to work 42 single crochets across this row. That's 1 single crochet in every stitch. And I'll meet you at the corner to show you the corner. All right, we've worked our single crochets across this row. We're coming up to the corner space now. So that should be 42 single crochets, and in the corner we're going to work single crochet, chain 2, and single crochet. So that should give us 43 single crochets on each side. We're now working down this side, and we're also going to work into every stitch with a single crochet. And I'll meet you at the next corner to show you how we work down the other sides. All right, we've worked single crochets on 2 sides now. We're coming right up to this corner stitch, which has a stitch marker in it. I'm going to remove that stitch marker. There we go. We're going to single crochet into that corner stitch. And now we're going to be turning to work down the edges of our double crochets. And since we want them to be even as we join them to the other squares, we want to work the same number of single crochets on each separate square. So in our corner, we're going to do a chain 2, come around this corner and do 6 single crochets in this first stripe. So there we've got 1. I like to kind of space it out and look at it. We've got 1, we'll do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Kind of evenly space those along that side. 2, 3, 4, 5. That would give us 6 here, so that's 3, 4, 5, and I always want to make sure the 6th one is as close to this color change as possible. So 6. So we space 6 single crochets along that first stripe. Then we're going to do 9 along this stripe, and I'm just going to work over my tails. So we'll go into this first space after the color change with 1. And you can see that I just go into the stitch with the yarn tails held there and pull up a loop and do a single crochet just right around the tails. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's look here. 6, 7, 8. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we need 4 more. We need 1 here. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's 6, 7, 8. And in this last space before the color change, 9. So that's 9 single crochets along this second color stripe. And then we're going to do 6 along this next one. Starting close, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so that's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we have 9 again in this next wide stripe. So 1, just past the color change. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is that correct? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, now when we come to this first beginning square, we're going to do 1 single crochet into the corner space, and then there are 11 stitches along the side before you get to the corner here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We're going to work a single crochet into each of those 11 stitches. And if you have a lot of tails here, I like to trim back some of the ends. So I'm not going to trim the ends of the purple or the yellow, which are our last 2 ends, because they are not worked over yet. So in that first single crochet, pull through and single crochet. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so that was 11 single crochets in the 11 side stitches. We also had 1 in the corner, so we're actually at 12 stitches across this square, and we're going to do a 13th one in this corner space, because we're going to do single crochet, chain 2, single crochet in this corner to turn the corner. All right, and then we're going to work the same way we did down this side back across this one. So we've worked into the corner. We'll now have 11 single crochet stitches to work across this square. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, didn't get through that one cleanly. 7, I believe. Let's see. 1 in the corner, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yep, 8, 9, 10, 11 in each of those stitches, and then another one in the corner. So that's 13 stitches in our corner here, 1 in this corner space, 11 across the double crochets, and 1 in this corner space. Now we're going to do 9 single crochets across this stripe. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then we're going to do 6 across the next stripe. We're going to work 6 single crochet stitches across this next stripe, starting with one just past the color change. 1, 2, 3, we're going to have 4, 5, so we'll do, that's 4, 5, and 6 just before the color change. The next stripe again will have 9, so we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Should give us one right here. So that's 7, 8, 9. Now we're going to do 6 in our last one, with the last stitch being our finishing corner. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we'll do in this last space 6. Then we're going to chain 2 and slip stitch into this first stitch and pull the tails from here out of the way, and we'll have to sew those ones in. We've worked over most of the others. Alright, so we slip stitch to join and cut that tail and pull it through nice and even. I'm going to take the end of that final tail and thread it through an embroidery needle, and now it comes out like this. We're going to actually make it overlap this first stitch by copying that stitch. We're just going to come in around this next stitch so that it overlaps that one, and we're going to come down through the stitch that we made, our final slip stitch, and that just creates a copy of the stitch that was there. And now we can sew in that end and the others, and that is a completed square. They don't look perfectly square when you first finish them. If you have blocking mats and blocking pins, you can pin it out. I like to pin them all out flat while I finish working on them all. I haven't actually blocked them yet, I just pin them to shape while I'm making all the rest of my squares, and then when they're finished and joined, then we'll do a full blocking. So you can do that, pin them to shape either on blocking mats with blocking pins, or if you have a blocking board and these kind of pins, then you can block them on that kind of board as well. And joining two squares, we're going to lay them out right side facing up. The right sides have the rows of V's facing the fronts for the color going up. So on our right side, we're gonna find the seam that we wish to work, which is this one. We're going to keep our two pieces wrong side to wrong side, and we're gonna find this chain 2 space in the corner. Insert the hook through the chain 2 space of both squares. Take our yarn, still held double, and we're going to yarn over, pull through. We're going to yarn over and pull through that to create a slip knot, a slip stitch, sorry, in that space, and then we're going to work into that same space again and pull up a loop, and now we're going to work a single crochet in that corner space where we joined the yarn. Then we're going to work into the next stitch, working through both loops of the single crochet, and on the back piece, the first stitch of that also. So we have one loop from our last single crochet, and we have all 4 loops of 2 single crochet stitches. We're going to pull a loop through all of those and single crochet, and we are going to work into the next single crochet stitch on both the front and the back, pull up a loop and single crochet, and into the next, and so on across the whole piece. Single crochet into each stitch, going through both the front and the back square. Once you work all the way across the seam and you get to the next corner, you're going to work a single crochet through the chain 2 space at the corner of both. Now we're not going to cut this just yet, but we're going to take a look at how it's looking so far. So we have the squares joined, and you can see that it gives a nice V ridge, similar to the ones that we created across here for our join. Now, if you have the next 2 squares that are going to go below in the pattern, so it'll be this one and this one, we can continue our join how we have been. So we're going wrong side to wrong side, and the next squares will also be wrong side to wrong side, making sure that we're lined up the way we're supposed to be, of course. Here is that stitch that we were in, we will tighten that. So that was the single crochet in the chain 2 spaces at the corner. We can pick up the next 2 and go with a single crochet into the chain 2 space at their corner and single crochet in that space. Now we can keep working the same seam along this next set. In this way we can do all the vertical seams, and then once they're all attached with their vertical seams, we'll go across and do the horizontal seams of the blanket. So we just keep working how we have been all the way to the end. Once you've worked in the corner space, to find that next single crochet, it's just going to be that next one that hasn't been worked in. So this is our chain 2 space, and we're going to work into the first stitch on that square, and that is how we'll work our seams. When working from one set of squares to the next, going the first direction, we just did a single crochet in every stitch and then a single crochet in the corner chain 2 space, and to join the next square we just did a single crochet in the next corner chain 2 space of the next set of squares. When working across those seams that we made, we're actually going to do the same thing. So we single crochet in each stitch up to the corner chain 2 space, and then we are going to work a single crochet in that corner chain 2 space of the first set of squares. There we go. Single crochet in that first corner space, and then we are just going to ignore the seam the other direction and do the same thing again. Work a single crochet in the corner chain 2 space of the next set of squares, and then we're going to continue working in each single crochet, and that creates a seam. It just goes one direction over the other, and that's how our squares are joined together. If you are working your seams and they're coming out a little jagged so that one is not lining up with the next one over, you're going to want to undo the stitches you have so far, and you're going to want to scoot one stitch up on your join so that your seams are lining up better. You might have to redo that seam from the start, but once you see that they're off by one, you just scoot it one stitch the direction that you need and line up each of the stitches from there so that you can see which ones need to connect, and then you work into those, making sure to connect the stitch to the one that you have it lined up with. That should get you nice straight clean connections on those joins. Once you have those lined up and you rework the seam, your lines should be coming straight across. To join the yarn for the edging, we're going to pick the center top of the blanket where we have 2 different squares joining, and in the corner space we're going to insert our hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through that loop to create a slip stitch, and then working into the same space again, we're going to go through, yarn over, and do a single crochet in that corner space. Now for our edging, we're going to chain 1 and we're going to skip the first single crochet and single crochet in the next. Chain 1, skip 1, single crochet. You'll want to keep your chain stitches pretty loose here because you want it to cross that distance without puckering or pulling in tight. Single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet, and that's how we're going to do the border. When we get to where we have a joining, we're going to follow the same pattern with chain 1, skip 1. We're going to work into this corner space with a single crochet. Then we're going to chain 1, skip the join, and single crochet in the corner space of the next square, and continue on. Chain 1, skipping that first single crochet, and continue working across. When we get to this corner chain 2 space, we're still gonna chain 1 and skip 1 for this final stitch, and then we're going to single crochet into the corner, chain 2, and single crochet into the corner again. Then we'll continue on with our chain 1, skip 1, skipping this very first single crochet, and single crochet into the next. Chain 1, skip 1, single crochet, and keep working your way around. When we get to where the border began, we're going to chain 1, skip 1, single crochet into that corner space, skip our join, and then working into the very first single crochet, we're actually going to attach a new color. We're going to yarn over with the new color and pull through that slip stitch. Take this stitch marker out. We're going to, with our new color, chain 1, and working into this same space that we just joined, we're going to single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, and single crochet into the chain 1 space of the row below. Chain 1, skip 1, and single crochet into the chain 1 space from the row below. And we're gonna work around in that manner. And in the corner spaces, we will still do the single crochet, chain 2, single crochet in the corner. And that's how we switch colors. Once we come all the way to the end of our round, work into the first stitch, but instead of using this color, we're going to pick back up our first color for the yarn over, pull that through. We're going to chain 1 and single crochet into the same space. And now we've started our third round. To block this blanket, first I place it on some foam blocking boards and pin it to shape. I like to do steam blocking, so I have this steamer, I'll link it below, going across. I'll show it quickly. I do sections across and then also up and down, working in each section for about 30 seconds to a minute, really trying to let the steam saturate into the fibers of the yarn, but not going close enough to actually touch the yarn with the steamer. So you want to keep it about 2 inches above the project. Really slowly working over each of these sections to let the steam seep down into the fibers. It really helps the fibers relax and sit into this final position where they're going to stay.